Welcome back to Valheim Ashlands. My name is Nilaus and we are here with Ashlands just releasing off the experimental servers onto the main servers. So I guess a lot of people are going to find their way into Ashlands, and today I'm going to show you how to address Ashlands combat as a solo character, melee character focused, and also running around in Mistlands equipment. So this is going to be what we're in today. Most of the fights will actually degenerate into this mess that we're looking at right now. And then your challenge is that you need to know how each of these enemies work and how to deal with them in order to sort of survive this kind of mess where everything is coming at you at once. So that's what I'm going to do in this video, just break it apart, propose some strategies, show you how to deal with each of the enemy types. So if you find that useful, be sure to hit the like button. Come maybe subscribe even for more guides, let me know encouragements, let me know good advice, all that stuff. And of course I'm also streaming on Twitch, so come on by on Twitch and be part of both the design, the exploration, the learning, the frustration, the running, the corpse running, and the sailing and all that good stuff that's part of Ashlands now. So as I said, I'm running around in Mistlands equipment. The only thing exception is the Ashen cloak, because I wanted to get rid of my feather cloak, because don't run around with fire vulnerable equipment in Ashlands. Surprise, surprise. So you can see we kind of got things under control here. Now there's just a little bit left, and we can then go into the setup for each of the enemies. The first enemy to deal with is the Charred Warrior. Now you can just spam attacks, or you can do as I do. I am using Frostner and Mistwalker, but here I'm using Frostner for the special attack, which has a long knockback. The reason why I'm doing that is because it helps very much with the attack that come in, because first of all, they have one of the attacks is kind of delayed, which means it's a little bit more difficult to parry. And the second thing is that when you see a 1-star or even a 2-star, they hurt like hell. So just for the sake of education, ow, don't get hit by them. And therefore, if you just keep knocking them back, it might take a little bit of time, but it'll be super safe and they will never get to do their attacks. If you just time it right, then they will be pushed back and complete their attack outside of range. And there we go, you can easily take out a level 1. It works also for level 0 stars if you just want to play it safe, or if you can also do the parry strat. But this one is, if there are more, then it's a really good idea to just knock them back and just play it safe like that. Here we just have another one, and just trying to do it without too many mistakes as well. It's just 3 attacks with the Frostner, so that should be 3 special attacks. Easy to deal with. Next is the Archers. I'm gonna skipping the Twitchers because they're just trash mobs. But Archers, they have 2 attacks. They have the AoE attack, and then they have the single target attack. When they do that, both can be parried. The single target attack is the best one to parry. When you get that there, you can see the stagger, and you can run in, and then you almost one-shot them, depending of course on your weapons and skills and all that stuff. But generally just walk towards them if you're out of stamina, and then just parry. Here these spawners, they are spawning a lot of skeleton mobs, charred characters. I would say that whenever you see one of these, you just run at it. Don't clear the trash, just ignore the trash and just run straight in and clear. It takes about 6 attacks with the Mistwalker to kill the spawner, and you can see from this distance there will be like 1-2 mobs here, and I just completely ignore it, run in and just try to stay out of range of the units, maybe even use the Monument of Torment to block their attacks if at all possible, and then clear out the trash as we are afterwards, because otherwise they will just keep spawning. These are all over the Ashlands, so you will see them, and then just, as long as there are no other mobs around, just charge in and give it some swings, and then clean up the trash afterwards. Pretty simple. And it's also just mainly Twitchers they spawn. Now the next one is the Vultures. These enemies, they are pretty simple. Sometimes you can shoot them to aggro them. They have one trick, and they really want to be behind you. So whenever they attack, they will always sort of try the position behind you. And that means when you swing, you can just, you should have to be mindful that they'll probably be behind you. Should be a little bit more obvious here. You can see how much they just want to land behind you, and if you just swing, and there we go, it lands behind me, and that makes it a lot easier to deal with if you know that they are going to be landing behind you, so you can turn in the last seconds. I'm clearing up trash and finding some more vultures. Here it should also be pretty obvious. First thing, I do a very important thing, and that's punching the air a lot of times apparently, and then we can actually clear out these vultures. One more time, for good measure. No, the blobs. The blobs, they self-destruct, so they're not really something you have to to attack. Don't attack them in melee, but run close to them and then roll away. They're also great for clearing out, for harvesting building materials, trees and stones. And you just go close and then roll away in the last second. When you see sort of them grow, and there it's growing, and then I roll away, and then I don't take any fire damage. Fire damage is not that bad. The biggest issue is that they make noise, so they summon a lot of other enemies. Now onwards to the Ashlands, and we are. I guess the blob didn't think that their chapter was long enough, because it has left its own chapter and coming in to join us here. Luckily, the Ashlands is pushing it out of the way, so we can focus on the Ashlands now. The Ashlands has a very succinct disadvantage. It can't turn. It just cannot turn. Look at that. If you're behind it, then it just takes forever for it to turn. So that is what we're going to be using using and abusing against this. I find that some of its attack, there's a wind up with a big charge, and then there's sort of a small headbutt. The headbutt is extremely fast, so I miss the timing on it very often. So I find it's easier to just run around, get on the side, and just move forward, step, 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 swing, step, 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 and swing, and step, 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 and swing. And of course, it's not necessary for 1 stars, but if you are up against a bigger one, then it's definitely a good idea. You can see this attack was coming in just really quick with not a lot of warning, so it's really efficient to just go out on the side and just kill it from that side as well. Now, with the 1 star, this becomes the best strategy in my opinion, because it hurts a lot, and you can see that it also has a lot of hit points, so it's going to take a while, and it will also be in a point where we are going to be running out of stamina. Now I can't really continue to do it because it's out in the lava, so we'll see that it deals a silly amount of damage and also staggers me, so I really don't want to be staggered here. So it's trying to get to the side, but I don't really have a lot of stamina, and it's not easy to recover stamina against this, so I'm just going to roll to the side. There, I got hit. It does seem to hit quite a lot. Here's another trick for Ashlands. Use your potions. Don't be stingy with them. Just make some more if you need it, because you are going to be taking a lot of damage, and it's silly to die. But we now found our way behind this one as well, and again, we got a little bit stuck. Just roll through that attack. For once I saw it coming, and we can continue. I have barely any stamina, so I cannot attack much, but I can still just sort of get it, so it's still out of charge range. And what if there are two Ashlands at once? Well, don't know. I guess there's only one here, so I guess it just the joy of just how easy it is to stay here on the side and then deal with it. But now, when there are 2 of them, it gets a little more tricky, and my recommendation is try to use the terrain so that you don't have them both be able to charge you at once, but actually have them charge either each other by incident or charge into terrain. They will deal incidental damage to their other enemies, so this is quite handy to have them just deal damage to other things. And we can just walk past the attack and then go in and take it out from the side. There we go. Now the Ashlands are dealt with. Next up is a Morgan. Morgan is really terrifying when you see it the first time, but now it's actually become like super easy to deal with. First I'm going to deal with it with a Frostner. All of the attacks are easily telegraphed, like really easy to see it. And the idea is basically you parry, and then you get a couple of swings in. Here I am so fortunate that I have a Durga to actually help me with this fight, which makes it a lot easier. It's also really good when there's a mass of units, because it swings deal damage to everything, and these roly-poly, they also deal damage to pretty much everything around it, so it will deal damage to a lot of the enemies, a lot of other enemies at once. We're just gonna take this one out, and just pretty simple. Let's do another fight where we have it more alone, just man versus skeletal beast. And we aggro this from a distance. I was very fortunate to be able to see it at a long distance, which is kind of rare. And of course there's a 1-star Twitcher that joins us. But you know, that's just to show you that it actually is dealing damage to the other ones as well. So you can kind of ignore that Twitcher. So parry and attack, and parry and attack. Just try to do 2 attacks, because if you do 3, then you're using a lot of stamina and you might not have time for another attack. When it does the jump attack, then you can generally only do 1 follow-up attack before, because there's a shorter recovery time for it between there. Again, this one is you're going to be fighting a lot also in the putrid halls, so it's really important that we get this one and know how not to take any damage basically from it. So this roly-poly back and forth is a great way for you to recover stamina if you find yourself without stamina in one of these fights. This jump forward, you can attack and then parry and attack. And whether you want to be aggressive or not, but that's up to you. And this attack, and then we just recover some stamina while it's working. The charge forward attack is, it can be blocked, it can be parried. I just rarely do it, not because I don't want to, but because I rarely see it. It's super fast. And I think we can do one more of the Morgans just to see if we can get a perfect fight. Probably not, usually not. The another issue is they also deal a lot of damage, and also therefore a lot of noise, knocking down trees and all that stuff. So parry, and then we do some attacks inbound here. This one, this charge forward, I don't really get, but there. And 2 attacks are good. 3 attacks, you can see, then the next attack comes in too fast. So I'll get the damage taken here, and then it's so tempting to just squeeze in that one more little attack. There, and we take it. Next enemy was one of the more difficult ones, the Valkyries. They have 3 attacks. They have a spin attack that you really don't want to be hit by, and they have some fireball attacks when at range, and then they have sort of a normal claw attack. The claw attack can be parried. The ranged attack here that we're seeing now, you can take it out exclusively from range if you want, and that's probably the safest. This attack was just like a boom sound before. You really don't want to be hit by that, because that deals a lot of damage. But the claw attacks, you can parry those and get in. So this one, back away, you don't want to be hit by it. And that should be parryable, and then you can just go ham. You really don't want to be hit by anything else by it. But you really want to also just keep your eyes up in the air so you see them before they see you. Then we have the bone maws. They are usually met on the ship, but if you see one here, then there's a nice little trick that you can do. Like, obviously you can shoot them with arrows, but you can also, if you just happen to have your harpoon with you, then you can just drag them onto land, like you maybe once have done with a sea serpent. But here it's much more likely because they sort of are near the shore, so you get them onto land, and then as they try to slither back into the sea, you can just kill them here. So that is the last of the enemies. The only one remaining is the warlocks, and they are only in the fortresses. So in the next episode, I'll be showing you how to take a fortress solo. So that makes sense to have that there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, take care, and as always, stay effective, and I'll see you on Twitch or here on YouTube.